Hello lovely English language learners, it's MORKSENSEI. In today's video, we're going to go over the basics of email etiquette in English, specifically how to communicate with your teachers using email. We're going to cover the parts of an email, how to start your email, the content of your email, and ending an email. Then we'll go over an example. I'll talk about attachments and end with some general advice. Let's get started. These are the parts of a typical email. At the top, you have the email address of the person you want to send your message to. After that is the CC or BCC section, which includes the email address of another person or other people you want to be in on the message. CC stands for carbon copy and means that another person can see the email. BCC stands for blind carbon copy and means that another person or people can secretly see the email. The next section in an email is the subject line or subject heading. This tells the reader what the email is about. Finally, you have the body of the email. This is where you write your message. So here is an example with my messy writing in black. You can see that the header section includes the subject line and the email address of you, the person who is writing. And in the main section of the email, we can see that it is actually divided into four main parts. You have the greeting, the body, the closing, and the signature. Right before the signature, you have a word or phrase that indicates you're finishing your email. In this case, it's best. Some tips for the header section. Make sure you email well in advance of when you need your question answered. Use a professional email address. As a student, this means using your institutional or university or school email address. Also, make sure to include a subject line that is specific and includes identifying information. For example, it can include the topic of your email and perhaps your name and the class you're in. Now, when you start writing your email after you finished preparing the header section, the first thing you should do is write a greeting. Short and simple greetings are best, such as dear or hello or to, but be careful of titles. Different cultures have different rules for using titles, but generally speaking, unless your teacher tells you something different, you should use a formal title plus your teacher's last name. So in my case, you can use Ms. Mork. I tell all my students to call me MORKSENSEI, however. Find out what your teachers prefer by simply asking them. The title doctor is used for instructors who have PhD degrees. If you're a Japanese learner of English, however, probably it's best not to use the word teacher in a title, such as Mork teacher or teacher Mork. The word teacher in English is not a title. It is simply a profession name. It's not used in the same way as the word sensei is in Japanese. Note that it's also unnatural in English to combine a title with someone's first name, unless, of course, the person has said they prefer it. So, tips for the greeting section. Use a formal greeting like hello or dear instead of hey or hi, which are both very informal and probably not the best choice for emails to a teacher. And make sure you use the correct title for your instructor. Remember that doctor is used for those with a PhD. Professor might be a safer bet. Now let's move on to the content, which is in the main section of your email. Remember to be polite or respectful. Using formal language might help here. Be careful of all caps. All caps means all capital letters, and when you write this way, it comes across or appears as if you're shouting, which can seem rude. And of course, In this age of the computer, there is really no excuse for spelling mistakes. Make sure you use a spell checker of some sort before you send your emails. Like in the header section, specifically the subject line, you must make an effort to identify yourself in the body of your email. Be sure to include your full name, your student number, the class that you're in, and the project you're working on. Remember that your teachers probably get hundreds of emails, so it's best not to waste their time by making them try to guess who you are. Remember to clearly state the purpose of your email and what you have done already to resolve or solve the problem. Again, don't waste your teacher's time by asking for help with something that you can do by yourself with a little effort. Make sure to provide all the necessary information in the first email to minimize the exchange. So, for example, if you want to find out what time is good to meet with your teacher, it's a good idea to share right away what times are good for you. Finally, close your email with a question or statement that clearly says what action you want your teacher to take. Now, when you end your email, again, be polite and use a signature. When you're finishing your email, don't forget to thank the teacher for their time. Your signature should, at the very least, include your full name and perhaps your email address, student number, and name of the class you're in. You could even include your social media handles. Now, let's look at an example. What's wrong with the email you see here? Pause the video for a few seconds and write down the issues you see. Well, you can see that the subject line in the header is blank, and there's no greeting at the start of the message. The student has not given any specific information needed by the teacher, such as what homework she is talking about and for what class, or what kind of help she needs and when. On top of that, there is no polite ending, and the signature only includes the student's first name. This email would probably make most teachers want to pull out their hair. Okay, so here is a new version of the email, and you can see that it's better. If you need to, pause the video to read it. Yes, now there is something written in the subject line. There is a greeting. The student says which class she is in, why she was absent, and that she tried to solve the problem. The student also politely asked for help and wrote her full name in the signature area. However, there is still room for improvement. Pause the video again and once more write down any remaining problems you see. Well, as you can see, the subject line is written in all capital letters, so it looks like Narumi is shouting. The subject line is also not specific enough. It doesn't say what kind of help she needs. Next, she made a spelling mistake with the teacher's name, my name, and the word hello in the greetings section. In the body of her email, she failed to suggest some possible times when the teacher might help her and how long it would take. Finally, there is no polite ending. Okay, so here is a further improved email, and yes, it's much better. Pause the video if you need to read it. All right, so we've gone over all the parts of a good email message, and now I want to share a few words about attachments. Many times your teacher might not accept homework by email and instead request that you upload work to a platform like Moodle. If you do send homework by email, some teachers might want you to send a link to a file that is already uploaded somewhere like Google Drive. In other cases, however, your teacher may request that you send an attachment, which is a file that you send along with your email. If this is the case, please be careful how you name your file. A title such as homework is not good. Just like with an email, you should include identifying details in your file name, such as your name, the course assignment information, and perhaps the date. The more specific the file name, the happier your teacher will be because it will save him or her time. Your teacher might even request that you name your file a certain way. And now we're coming to the end of the video, and I will end with some final advice. First, make sure you include all the necessary information to save everybody time. Be careful with reply or reply all. Reply means that you're replying to one person, and reply to all or reply all means that you're replying to everybody else who also might be on the email list. Before you hit the send button, check the email address. Is it correct? After you send the mail, check your send area in your email platform to make sure that it was successfully sent. If your teacher replies to you with a question, make sure that you answer the email promptly or quickly. You might forget otherwise. Of course, if you can't remember how to address your teacher, use Professor or Mr. or Ms. plus their last name. Finally, remember that teachers are busy. If you think about everything that you can say to make the teacher's job easier, he or she is going to be very grateful and you will look good in their eyes, trust me. Okay, beautiful people, that is it for today. I hope the video was useful. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.